Some of them will say, I go, where are you going? To camp. I go to camp, that they're here to be militarized and not for us, against us.
Absolutely no communication with anybody from the feds. They won't tell us when people are coming or how many are coming or why they're coming. Our police officers, by law, aren't even allowed to have a discussion with the Border Patrol or any ICE enforcement. So it's not by accident. They don't want us involved. They don't want us stopping the process, because the whole idea is to have a free-flowing border.
And why would they want to have a free-flowing border?
Well, I mean, a lot of people argue about that. I think that the main reason is that by flooding more people into the country, they're going to go to population centers with a high Democrat presence.
Yeah, what the heck is happening here inside the United States? You guys are not going to want to miss this. Some of you may already be aware of it, but there is a lot going on that could destroy this country from within. Welcome back, warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. So today I have some more Nick Shirley, where he's at the border talking to illegal migrants, talking to a mayor of one of the California cities, and just showing us in depth what's really going on. But before we get further into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the notification bell. I am on my way to 40,000 subscribers. Also, I ask that you watch the video all the way to the end.
It's one of the most prime spots for migrants to cross over to come into the United States. However, the Mexican government, not the United States government, has now set up razor wire here so that migrants cannot cross over. And actually, on the other side of this fence, the Mexican government has set up their own encampment to stop the cartels from dropping people off here into the United States. I do find it a little bit ironic that the Mexican government has set up their own camp right next to the border. Meanwhile, the United States is just letting anybody come in, and they're not putting anybody right here at this main crossing point. However, there are still people crossing over here into the border, and because the Mexican government blocked off this entry point, we headed up to a higher vantage point to try and find new entry. We got an overview right here. We got a bird's eye view of the valley. We're not seeing anybody. There's a helicopter going, which means there are people coming across the border right now, so we're trying to find where these people are coming over. We have found one of the main entry spots where they're coming in. And why do we know that it's a main entry spot? Because right here, there's a huge gap in between the barbed wire and there are blankets, which means that is a spot where they're coming over and they're hopping over the fence. They're literally getting a rope or some sort of thing and they're hopping right on over into America. Something very strange about this spot right here is we are finding lots of documentation, such as passports and birth certificates, just like this one right here. This is a birth certificate from somebody from China. This has all the documentation for another person from China, and this person was born in 1984, and she is from the Republic of China. This person...
Whoa, you guys, this is insane. No, this is seriously insane. Our own country under, Jim Crow Joe, and you know why they're doing it. Of course, it's for voters. I mean, my husband and I talked about this last year, that it's for voters. See, the demon rats cannot win fairly. Okay, they have to do these little tricks and schemes. They're just a party of evil. Okay, I mean, of course, I can't let the Republicans go scot-free. I can't, because half of them are crooked, but a lot of them are really Democrats in disguise. But you see what is happening. This is very clear where this is going. We have Chinese farmland being purchased. Our own farmland is being purchased by the Chinese government next to U.S. military bases. And I talked about this some months ago as well. I just mentioned it in one of my other videos, but that's what's happening. And it's like they want to, the evil powers that be really want to go up against Trump, because he's going up against their evil intentions for us. Now, he said it before, and I'll repeat this, that they're really after us. The evil powers that be are after us, the American citizens. But Donald Trump is standing in the way. They want him out of the way, whether by lawfare, whether by any means necessary. That's what they're doing. And they don't think some of us see it. Now, some of us don't say it to say, You've seen some of my videos. Some of these people out here don't even have a clue. They depend on the news, they get misinformation, and they spread it. And they vote based on what their community is voting. People need to individually seek knowledge, but everybody's not going to do it. So what can you do? But our country looks like it's being given over to other entities. And it looks like we're going communist. And that's scary. And what they're going to try and do in this upcoming election, who knows? Who knows what they're going to try and do? I don't know all the intricate details. None of us know all the intricate details. But I know something's going down, and I know based on history, Democrats don't go down without a fight. And they will do anything, any means necessary. The means, anything. There's nothing that they won't do. Nothing that they won't do. That's scary.
Looks like it's another person from some part in Southeast Asia, and there's just tons of garbage and other stuff on this other side of the border, along with all of the garbage here on the United States side. A little strange what's happening here on the southern border. We're still trying to find migrants that are coming over, and we will find them soon. No cartel drop-offs were happening at that location, and a Border Patrol agent told us to go to a different road in the middle of the desert. So we're driving down this road, and look, we found a whole group of migrants have just came in. And as we entered, there was already 2 cars that were already there. Keep these cars in mind because we come back and confront them in just a few moments. We got 1, 2, 3 different groups. What country?
From Jordan, yes.
Why'd you come to America?
America beautiful.
And where are they from? China?
China.
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 Yeah. ¿De dónde son ustedes? ¿Cuánto tiempo llevan aquí afuera? Wow, ¿cuánto tiempo llevan aquí esperando?
Ni idea.
¿Dónde entraron ustedes?
Son vainas ya por hallar. Es que no sé ni por qué camino llegamos.
¿Como por allí o como?
No lo sabemos.
¿En serio? I tried to ask these migrants where they entered in from, however, nobody would speak to me and their answers were very, very short.
I do admire Nick's Spanish. For those of you who don't know, I'm in the process of becoming fluent in Spanish, and he just spit it out just like a native. Wow, impressive. But notice that a lot of these people are military age men coming from China. Jordan is in the Middle East, and these areas are not friendly areas towards the United States. Some of them don't want to say anything, but because I think, though I don't know these people, they're there for nefarious reasons, that they're here for nefarious reasons. And we see what's actually happening in our own country. We are at, I hate to say it like this, but I just have to keep it 100% real with you. We are in trouble. God has to intervene. We are in absolute desperate trouble. If it not were for the Lord and his grace and mercy, we would be destroyed inside out. But prayer warriors pray.
All right, so there's legit 3 groups. We got the people from Asia, South America, and now I don't know where these people are from. However, everyone is covering up their faces because some NGO that is here right now told them not to speak to me. A little weird. Speak English? Yes. All of the migrants covered their faces, and some even put their hands up to try and block my camera. And some even demanded for me to stop filming. So nobody wanted to speak right now. Somebody told them, the lady here, told them not to speak to anybody. And she's in the car, and she looks happy as can be as she's protecting the people that came in this country illegally. She's got a big old smirk on her face. We're going to go talk to her. How's it going?
Protecting the illegals, but don't protect Americans. Our government is sick. It has turned against us. You all better vote. Yeah, I can't tell you who to vote for. You know where I stand. But we need to understand what is actually going on right now. We're being turned over to be something that is not a constitutional republic. And that is dangerous in more ways than one. I hate to say this, but I had a bad dream. This was between Donald Trump being elected, but before the inauguration, to the best of my memory. And I remember that it was downtown in my hometown, and there were soldiers lined up on both sides of the street. And as people walked by, they would throw paper balls at us as we walked by and mocked us. That is a dream that I had. I thought that it was going to be because of Donald Trump doing that, but I see that it was referring to something farther into the future that did not have anything to do with Donald Trump. So I wondered why I had that dream. I was like, oh, Lord, Trump gonna do this to us. But it wasn't him that was doing it. Now I see, as time has passed, that it's because of the current administration, what they are doing, intentionally letting us become invaded. Can you imagine walking down an American street and soldiers lined up, teasing and mocking you? Oh.
Going. Who do you guys work with?
I prefer if you didn't chat with us.
Why so?
I just don't really want to talk to you guys, that's all.
And why? We're just trying to understand what's going on. So do you guys work with an NGO? Do you guys are just coming out here to help people?
Just, helping humans.
How long have you guys been coming out here for?
I mean, I've been out here for about 7-8 months now.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I've seen you before, though.
And have you seen a big shift on what's happening with the migrants? Because before they were going over to Tacoma, now they're coming over here.
I mean, they're coming all over around the southern border.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And is this guy work with you?
Yeah, it's my friend.
Oh, cool. Are you guys working on a documentary?
No.
And what's the camera for? If you don't mind me
He
asking.
just wants to film.
Cool.
I mean, same thing with you guys,
Yeah.
He's got a little bit more fancy of a setup.
Yeah, he's got a bit more of a fancy of a
At
setup.
least you got your microphone and everything,
Mm-hmm. And so, since you've been coming out here for 7 months, and it's probably been treated like a job, do you get paid to come out here and do this?
No, I'm just a person that wants to help.
Really? Do you believe it's right for these people to be
I don't
coming
really,
over? And then do you know,
Like I said, I don't really care to engage with you guys.
So once these people cross the border and they are here, and then do you know what happens?
She's saying consistently, I don't want to talk to you guys. I don't want to engage with you guys. And Nick is still asking questions. He's like, you're going to talk to me.
Happens to their lives after they cross the border? Like what you're helping facilitate?
I mean, I don't really understand why this question is being asked. No, these people are, going to their families, their friends here in America. That's the most that I know and the most that I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really ask much beyond it, besides obviously this isn't cool. No one should be stuck in this heat without food, water. Thankfully, there's some tarps, they've been put up in a porta potty.
Does it worry you that potentially bad people could be coming over and that we're...
None of these people are bad.
Really? You don't think a single person of these
I've
person?
never had a bad experience with a migrant.
And it seemed like every time we asked another question, she got more and more worried, and then I eventually wanted to ask her cameraman some questions because he was filming me.
All right, so this guy right here, he's filming me. I'm trying to ask him a few questions about what he's doing. So where's this film gonna go?
I kept asking this guy questions as he videotaped me and my mother, and as I asked him questions, he would not answer anything, and meanwhile, Border Patrol showed up.
Why won't you respond to any questions? The lady over there, she gave me very bad vibes, not gonna lie. She wasn't speaking to me, she wasn't giving me any responses. She's protecting these people that are coming over here illegally. All right, they're taking care of the woman first. We got the Border Patrol coming through.
¿Mujeres vienen solas? Sí. No. Mujeres, puras mujeres.
Putting the luggage right up front, just like a first-class service here, valet service here at this encampment here in the middle of California.
They loaded the majority of the migrants up, and we went to find where the migrants are coming in at. And we met a lady whose backyard is literally the border, and she shares some extremely shocking and scary information about the current crisis, especially with the Chinese migrants.
So is every single day, are there migrants coming through your yard?
Every day. About 3 a.m. every single night. They come down that hill, all the way around. They go through our property, and then they come right here. The other night they started a fire right there. And then they yelled at our window, hello, hello, till they woke us, make sure they wake us up.
Really? And are they expecting you guys to help them when they cross over?
They want us to help them. They don't, and then when we tell them to go up the road, the best we can, they don't believe us, so they'll go for a little ways, and they'll turn around and come back. So this goes on all night. So actually, I am so tired. Every night, they're a nuisance, and the Border Patrol is not stopping them. They're actually, if we say anything like, you can't come through this area, we can get in trouble. They have even told us they would arrest us if we hindered these migrants.
Americans get arrested if we hinder the migrants? Oh. Yeah, this is an all-out way to deal. This upcoming November is an all-out way to deal. And yes, that's what they're up to. And it could be through some other kind of force. You guys, it's a lot. You know, the truth is going to come out. What is done in secret comes to the light. And I did a video with Prophet Hubert Angel, and he's Zimbabwean, from Zimbabwe. And he said that there would be a great expose of American political figures. I can't wait. I am so excited about that. The issue that I'm having is that what are the evil powers that be going to do once they continue to get more and more desperate? And the Democrats put themselves in this position, and they very well deserve it. They deserve it for all the evil things that they've done, not to just Trump, but to Americans, to all of us. And, you know, I have my thoughts about what happened with, you know, that pandemic. Yeah, I believe that's something to that too.
If we showed everybody guns, which we don't do that because they're just people, that they would confiscate our guns. They would take our property. They have harassed us and not the migrants. The migrants come through here and they have come through and flipping us off and taking pictures and what have you, or trying to get, or even asked me if they could have my password so they could get on the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
They even asked for your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
And does the government do anything to protect you guys, or does it sound like they're protecting the migrants more than anything?
Oh, they're protecting the migrants. They don't help us at all. They've told us that they will arrest us. And if we try to help the migrants, which sometimes you feel sorry for them. They got little bitty kids, a lot of children. And, you know, one day it was super hot out here. And so we gave them a little ride up the road. And they told us if we did that again, they would arrest us.
Really?
So we can't help them, but we can't send them back either. Our hands are tied. The Border Patrol's hands are tied.
You know, there was a question that went across the bottom of the screen. Why do you think this is happening? Because they need voters. You know, the evil powers that be are trying to turn these people into voters. That's why it's happening. So that they can deal in this November. But guess what? It won't work because God has a plan. Throughout biblical history, God's plans were attacked by Satan. But guess what? God's plan still came to be. So there you go.
So do you think the Border Patrol is getting their orders from above? Because
Absolutely. They took an oath to protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing that. They're not doing their job. They're doing somebody else's bidding. That they're afraid to lose their jobs. You know, that's their job. And if they don't do what they're told by their superiors, because they're not making the decisions, they can't.
Mm-hmm. So the Border Patrol is just following orders by saying that.
Absolutely.
And it's the people up top that are saying, hey,
Well, it has to be.
protect the migrants.
And these people come through they've offered us money, and they've got wads of American money in their wallets.
Really? The migrants?
The migrants. American dollars. We have found foreign money all over the property, from Turkey, Vietnam, all over the world. But how they leave China, because a lot of them are Chinese the last few days, how can hundreds and hundreds of them leave China? It's a communist country. Their people don't just get visas like Americans do, like Americans go wherever they want to. That doesn't happen in other countries. In other countries, they are stopped. They've got to have a reason for leaving the country. They don't just they've got to be coming over in a plane because they're not walking here. How do they leave China?
So on the other side of your property, is it mountain or is there the border wall as well?
It's the border wall.
Border wall? And
Yeah.
they're somehow coming through the border wall.
Well,
And
there's
they
a great
can't
big gap. It's about a mile long. If you go up here, you can see it.
Do you ever see any cartel members guiding them?
I think sometimes there's a mule, but it's hard to tell because the person will look different than the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Like that person doesn't belong with the group. But for the most part, these, what are they, some kind of workers that are funded by some church groups or whatever, they put ribbons up and things along the way. And then if you look you'll see clothes that they just throw, suitcases.
What do you think the purpose is of these NGOs helping all these migrants once they come over?
Well, because they're going to give them citizenship. When they get citizenship, they can vote. That can be the only reason. Or they're here. Some of them will say, I go, where are you going? To camp. I go to camp. The only thing it means to me when they say they're going to camp would be like a military camp where they're going to be, they're of military age between 19 and 34, young men.
Really? So you think there could be like other camps where the migrants
Like
are coming in?
yeah.
Like, is that especially the Chinese people where they're coming in? Because you don't see the Chinese people inside the shelters, and they're telling you they are going to camp.
You're going to camp. And I go, where's camp? San Francisco. Where's camp? Los Angeles. So that's the only thing I can figure, that they're here to be militarized and not for us, against us.
Not for us, against us. That's what is happening right now. I can't. This is, we've been invaded under this Biden administration, this Jim Crow Joe. Wads of money, according to this woman here who lives at the border. Wads and wads of money, people coming from all over the world. She mentioned China and Turkey. And it's not easy for those people to get passports coming from certain countries. And of course, they flew over. They didn't just walk over from all those other places. It's not just Mexico. It is all over the world. And some of them have been instructed not to say anything. Wow. This is, if you think about it, it is scary. Sometimes I would like to stick my head in the sand and act like, everything's fine, nothing's going on. Because thinking about it too much can get you down in the dumps a little bit, because I know what is truly happening. And she said it herself. These are military age men, young men, and they are being brought over to go to camp. Militarization, not for us, but against us. We are being invaded from within, the enemy from within. But yet everybody is stuck on Trump's personality. Trump said he would have the largest deportation in history. You not born here, you haven't come through the right way. He's okay with immigration, just not illegal immigration. You got to get up and go till we get you vetted. I don't want to hear this sad sob story, because we got people we have to protect. And some of these migrants have come over here and committed heinous crimes. I told you about Lake and Riley, that, she was murdered by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. This was just a few months ago on the campus of University of Georgia.
Wow, so there could be troops here that are in other governments that are here inside the United States right now.
Oh, I'm sure there are. How many getaways have they gotten?
So a lot of Americans, they see what's going on in the news. However, they're not experiencing it like you are right here on your camp, literally next to the border.
I have film of them going through here. But, I got time to sit here every day filming this stuff. I'm not the news people. But if somebody wants to come here and film it, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's perfect time. But sometimes I think they get word, because they'll see, we'll tell them, they come through here at 3 o'clock in the morning, about 200-300 of them. The news people will sit out here for days and nothing will happen. And
really?
Then...
So do you think that the NGOs that are welcoming them over there are talking to the cartels on the other side?
Yeah, somebody is, yeah. They have to be. There's no other way. They know not to come through whenever the Magnolia and JLR, I don't know if you know who they are. They sat here for 2 days. CNN camped on here for a couple of days. And nothing happened. Then the minute they left, here it comes again.
Yeah. We were talking to some of the NGO people over there, had no American flags. They were wearing Palestinian gear, and they were, I would like to say they were anti-American, because they're getting mad at us for even just trying to talk to the people.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you're saying, they're talking to the cartel on the other side, welcoming these people in, giving them waters, giving them food, giving them everything they need.
Yeah, a lot. And then the monies they're getting, because where do they get that money? They're not exchanging it in Tijuana.
To all the Americans that are going to be watching this video, what would be your message to them, since you are right here at the hot spot of the migrant crisis?
We need to stand up. We need to stand up and make the right votes and be a voice, because we're not being a voice. We're just following and say, okay, that's fine. Well, what do we do? As an individual, you can't. You can only do it as a group. And if you say anything like that, then you're a rebel and possible a terrorist, and white supremacists and whatever other names they call us, just because we want our America. It's not, we don't want it back. We want it to be America. Our rituals, our Christian beliefs, not, and they do have a right to their religion. We don't care about that. That's fine and dandy. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but don't infringe on my beliefs and don't encroach on my properties and take my, well, just take Chicago, for instance. All those people that live in the ghetto get nothing. Now they're bringing in these people, taking the kids out of the schools and putting these illegals in the schools, housing them, emptying beautiful hotels and housing these people, which I don't want them I don't want them to be cold. I don't want them to be hungry, but the taxpayers can't afford it. And if you're paying taxes, and a lot of people say, well, it's not my money. Yes, it is. The federal government has no money. We are the government. We, the people, are the government, not the people that work for us. Biden works for us. He's not our boss. All of the people in Congress work for us, but they've changed it around. We started working for them. And all of our monies, they're rich. They are filthy rich. So they don't live like this. They don't live paycheck to paycheck. They don't live with paying utilities. They probably don't even really know the cost of gas or the price of a loaf of bread because they don't buy that stuff. They have somebody do it for them on the taxpayer dollar. That's who pays for it. It all goes down to the consumer.
Thank you so much for your time. And if you enjoyed this conversation with this lady, please share this because what she's saying needs to be shared. So share this video, give it a like, comment down below because what she is saying is the truth and the word needs to get out.
It does need to get out, Nick. I mean, it really needs to get out. She said that they are, and I've already said this in other videos, and it's been in the news, and especially conservative-minded people seem to be more knowledgeable than the liberals. It's just a fact. So if a lefty gets in the comments and gets angry, so be it. Most liberals have the wrong information. They have the wrong information. That's why they're liberal. They have the wrong information. They don't realize that we're being invaded from within. They don't realize these people are setting up camp near military bases. She said not for us, against us. They are being set up in these nice hotels. They're emptying the schools and putting those migrants in because they have to have a place for them to live. And it's so many of them. I can't imagine that every single one is being housed when the numbers that I'm getting are in excess of 10 million. That's more legal citizens in New York City, which has more than 8 million people. Can you even imagine? These people are everywhere. And now these cities are crying, saying, you know what? We don't want to be a sanctuary city anymore. It's too much. We're in crisis. That's what you get for saying we'll be a sanctuary city. That is dumb thinking. Okay? We can't take care of your own citizens and you take care of these people that are not citizens. Come on. Come on. And then they're being told not to say anything. They're being made into voters. They're going to camp to be indoctrinated. Yes, because lefties believe in indoctrinating people. They want you to think a certain way. And one of the Trump ads that I did, it was called Never Give Up. And Donald Trump is saying the evil powers that tell you how to think. They're working on how we think. And what they're doing is making us turn away from God if we're not careful. That's what's happening. And people who don't have discernment, who are just not believers at all, or maybe they're Christian who don't have discernment, baby Christians, I don't know. They don't get what's happening. They just don't. But that's what's happening. People are being indoctrinated, whether they're born here or here illegally. That's just the truth.
The lady I just interviewed gave us permission to go up her property where the migrants are coming in. So now we are going to be hiking up the mountain and through the way to our way to the border to see if we can find some migrants coming over. And we got a little peacock hanging out with us right now. He's going to lead the way. Lead of the way, Marty. And here along the trail, there's just tons of medicine. You can find it literally anywhere here on the trail. And the scary thing is with medicine, you don't really...
Be careful touching it with your hands. Ooh, be careful. I have gloves on. No way I'd be touching it with my bare hand.
Know what is being brought over, especially if it is from a foreign country. And a lot of people are saying that a lot of drugs and such are being smuggled over here across the border.
There's a lot of packages like this that have all sorts of medicine in them. So you wonder, well, who's packaging all these pills for them? There's medicine littered all over the border, and we know that a lot of these migrants are bringing in drugs that are being smuggled over the border.
This is the border line to go into Mexico. So if we cross this, we'd be in Mexico right now. I do not feel like getting in cartel land right now, so we're going to stay right here. Obviously, here you can tell that this is an entry point. There's tons and tons of footprints, and as well as there's a bunch of other items that people have left on the Mexican side in order to come here to the United States. Right here, we have found some debit cards from China. We found some plane tickets and a ripped up passport, literally sliced in half. You can see passport right there. And right here is the plane ticket. He flew into Cancun, and then from Cancun, he went to Tijuana.
We waited for hours at this location, however, no migrants came. Is it a coincidence that no migrants came, especially after what the lady had just told us? I will let you decide. We drove back to the encampment in the desert and found a Chinese migrant that was left behind.
Are you waiting for the police?
Police.
Police?
Yes. Police.
And where are you going?
It was very obvious that this Chinese migrant was very stressed out, and at this time, when I asked him where he was going, he pulled out a paper from his bag.
Interesting.
This paper had step-by-step directions about where to go and what to do once you cross the border, and it even had information about an interview a migrant must pass in order to stay in the United States. It literally explained everything. And while we were with the Chinese migrant, the cartel dropped off another load of migrants on the other side of the border about a mile down from where we were at. Is it a coincidence that the cartel somehow knew to drop migrants off at a location that we were not at? I don't know. Once again, you tell me.
Entonces, ¿cuánto tiempo usted lleva aquí esperando aquí en este campamento?
Horas ya. Como 5 horas.
Oh, wow. ¿Y dónde son ustedes?
Colombia.
De Colombia. ¿Y cuánto tiempo lleva caminando o llegando aquí?
Llevamos más o menos una semana.
Una semana. Oh, entonces lo hicieron muy rápido.
Sí, nos vinimos en un vuelo.
¿Cuántos vuelos tenían que tomar hasta llegar aquí?
Tomamos Bogotá-Cancún, Cancún-Ciudad de México-Tijuana.
¿Y los carteles les llevaron hasta aquí?
Sí.
Wow. ¿Y cuánto tenían que pagar a los carteles?
A nosotros nos va yendo como 14 millones, ¿no?
¿Y qué son sus planes entonces ahora?
Sí, todavía toca esperar a ver lo que nos detenga el destino, porque uno no puede planear muchas cosas hasta que no ver.
¿Qué vas a hacer ahora aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Los planes los da ellos, nadie más.
¿Cómo saben por dónde van a vivir en una semana?
No sabemos.
A lot of people here have said they don't really have a plan on what they're going to do. They say, well, we're going to do whatever God tells us to do. Do you guys also have that same mentality? ¿También tienen esta misma mentalidad?
Sí, yo creo que la mayoría encomendamos todo en las manos de Dios. Es como, no sé, nuestra esperanza.
And what are the people in Colombia saying about Joe Biden?
La verdad, solo se escucha los casos migratorios, no se escucha bien el sistema político de Estados Unidos, sino la mayoría de gente del exterior solo está pendiente del caso migratorio. Por ejemplo, si Joe Biden abre las puertas a los inmigrantes o si Trump las cierra.
And so they're saying that Joe Biden is leaving the door open while Trump is going to close it.
Sí, es como de que Joe Biden le está dando la oportunidad a los inmigrantes de buscar un mejor futuro para sus familias. En cambio, Trump no quiere aceptar eso.
¿Hoy día tienen que pagar a alguien para cruzar la frontera?
Sí, pero no dan el nombre en concreto de la persona. O sea, no nos dicen quiénes son ni qué hacen. Solo llegaron personas encapuchadas y nos dijeron, allí hay una escalera, nosotros lo llevamos y ahí ya no sabemos.
Was it easier or was it a lot harder than you guys thought to get here?
Fue difícil, no sé, cuando uno emprende este viaje, la expectativa no es tan de cosas tan traumáticas, ¿sí? Porque cuando estábamos en el tren incluso pasó los carteles alumbrándonos a la cara con metralletas y pues puede ser una situación un poco que trauma psicológicamente. No sé, cuando yo salí de Colombia pensaba que era más fácil.
There in Colombia, is it kind of like the most popular thing to do right now is to come to the United States?
Se está volviendo un poco más popular, por lo que le digo de Joe Biden, que está permitiendo el ingreso de los inmigrantes.
And also a group of migrants have painted the wall here with Colombian colors. Keep in mind, this is in the United States, and now they are marking their own territory here in the United States, putting their Colombian flag right on the border. Rhiannon, Juanita, Sebas, y Lorena have all came across the border today.
We went to the spot where the migrants
In San Diego,
Okay, because it's obvious
this is affecting his city and his civilians.
Permitiendo el ingreso de los inmigrantes.
And also a group of migrants have painted the wall here with Colombian colors. Keep in mind, this is in the United States, and now they are marking their own territory here in the United States, putting their Colombian flag right on the border. Rhiannon, Juanita, Sebas, and Lorena have all came across the border today.
We went to the spot where the migrants had crossed over, and sure enough, the ladders were right there.
There are literally ladders right here hanging up. These ladders are legit made by rebar that are being used to cross the border, and they're just sitting right here.
As the sun went down, the Mexican military came to the border wall and had a chance to speak with them through the wall.
And now Mexico military is right here. We just tried to talk to them through the wall. They weren't really saying much. However, I did say, is this where the cartel comes? And they gave me a little head nod. So they came to investigate this spot right here because it's obviously a high trafficking spot for the cartels.
From the border, I went to meet with the mayor of a city a few miles away from the border to see how the migrant crisis is affecting his city and his civilians. I highly suggest paying close attention as a lot of this information will surprise you.
Okay, and here in San Diego County, we're seeing a lot of stuff happening here at the border. And you guys being a border town, how is it affecting the city here?
Since October, we've had over 250,000 drop-offs in San Diego, these street releases.
So a lot of the funds and a lot of taxpayers' dollars are going to fund a lot of the immigration and the homeless crisis, would you say here?
Oh, absolutely. The County of San Diego already spent $6 million on a migrant welcome center, which I'm not sure why we need that, but they've just allocated another $19 million for that. But, you know, there are also costs that you don't see. You know, everybody that comes across, whether they're a citizen or not, is entitled to full health care. And that even includes having sex change operations. But that's an expense for the whole family. People that come over with kids are put up in hotels. Those hotels costs $8,000 to $10,000 per month, and that's paid for by the city. Now there's a bill in California that says that if you're an illegal alien, you can get free college tuition, even a 20% down on a house. These are things that American citizens are not getting.
And
so
why are these people getting it and American citizens are not getting those benefits?
What? 20% down on a house, sex change operations. They giving these people everything, and we are paying for it. I can't believe this. Free college tuition. Oh my, I would come over here too. If I lived in another country, I'd be coming. Honey, I'd be wearing that gravy train out. You can't blame the people necessarily if they're giving them all those incentives compared to where they were. I mean, come on. It's human reasoning that they would want to come someplace better. That is insane. Oh my goodness. Taxpayers are paying for that. And we don't get that. That's the equivalency of people who you don't know coming into your house, you feeding them and housing them and letting your own family members stay out on the street and you don't feed or house them. But the people you don't know them from a can of paint coming in your house and they eat up the food, stay in the house, you give them clothes, you give them debit cards to go shopping. And the people that you know and love, who you know are your family, you let them stay outside on the street. Compare that to that. Wow.
I mean, I think the main reason is in California, you have a supermajority of Democrats in the legislature. That means that Republicans have absolutely no say. There are a lot of Republicans in California, but the big cities, the big population centers overwhelm the rest of the state of California and send nothing but Democrats to the legislature, who then make these kind of most of us think insane laws.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like your hands are tied as being the mayor here with trying to run the city and use the funds and allocate them in a safe place while federal government and sounds like Gavin Newsom is giving out all these freebies to all these migrants?
Well, absolutely. It's by design, because normally if there were any kind of a crisis that were happening, we would have coordination between the local government and the federal government and the state government. But we have absolutely no communication with anybody from the feds. They won't tell us when people are coming or how many are coming or why they're coming. Our police officers, by law, aren't even allowed to have a discussion with the Border Patrol or any ICE enforcement. So it's not by accident. They don't want us involved. They don't want us stopping the process, because the whole idea is to have a free-flowing border.
And why would they want to have a free-flowing border?
Well, I mean, a lot of people argue about that. I think that the main reason is that by flooding more people into the country, they're going to go to population centers with a high Democrat presence. Places like San Diego, Chicago, New York. When that happens, if they get counted in the 2030 census, more congressional seats will be allocated as a result of that. And when more congressional seats are allocated in dark blue areas, then those dark blue areas will elect dark blue candidates that will go to Washington and then overwhelm federal House of Representatives like it has the state houses.
Okay, so maybe they might not be able to vote. However, with them being there, they're able to raise the numbers of electoral votes in their areas. Or
yeah, I think that's what we're talking about: congressional seats.
Congressional seats,
and then they'll control the government forever.
Right now, it's affecting us a lot. However, in 2030, when that census comes through, that's when we're really going to see the effect.
That's when people are going to wake up and say, well, "How did this happen?" You may have seen a report I did earlier where I showed hundreds of document cards from China. Mm-hmm. And we're not in a friendly position with China. Our country is in some kind of a cold war with China. They're flooding the country with young military-age men. I don't know why they're here. I don't know why they need to come from China. It seems to have lots of jobs in China. They're manufacturing a lot. Mm-hmm. Why do they need to come to America? And I think the answer is some of that is people are being brought over to be embedded into our culture, that they can be activated whenever needed. If China needs people to go in and attack individuals, attack groups, attack the water system, attack the electrical grid, commit industrial espionage. The problem is we don't know. Mm-hmm. And it seems like our federal government is playing very fast and loose. Crazy.
Yeah, and where are these Chinese people going after they cross the border?
Well, we don't know.
Is there anybody that's tracking them to see where they are going?
Not that anybody will tell us. I mean, it's possible that when they get picked up by the Border Patrol, they get taken down to the trolley stations in San Diego. When they're dropped off at the trolley stations, then they're picked up by NGOs and non-governmental organizations, people who get paid to disperse them. And then they're taken off in all different directions. They're very secretive. They won't tell us where they're going. They won't tell us, what their purpose is. And then they just kind of disappear into the landscape. So, I think that there's something to be concerned about.
Interesting. And these NGOs, is there any ongoing investigations with NGOs working with other sides of the people on the other side of the border?
Like cartels?
With cartels?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of talk about it.
Is there any ongoing investigations? Because yesterday we were at the border. We showed up. There's two people there. They were extremely hostile with us. They were not nice. And then once we were there, no more migrants came in through that area for the rest of the day, and they went over to another area.
Yeah, well, I believe that they're in coordination with the cartels. But the Biden administration is in coordination with cartels.
Wow, he just said the Biden administration is in coordination with the cartels. Now, if you don't believe by now that the Biden administration is not good for this country, then you should know. That is why I'm voting for who I'm voting for, because he wants deportation. And they're going to make it sound like, well, you're anti-immigrant. You're anti-immigrant. No, we're anti-illegal immigrants. We are for Americans. All of that money going to illegals, and it's not going to our citizens, and to change the congressional makeup, making there be more population in those states, causing the electoral college vote, the electoral college votes to go up. Yes, they're going to count them in the census. And that way that would be, their plan is to have Democrats control forever. And I told you the Democrat Party is a very prolifically dangerous, evil party. They don't stop at anything. They stop at nothing to get what they want. They stop at absolutely nothing. They will do whatever it takes. And the Republicans just don't go by those nefarious means. But I need you Republicans to fight harder to do what's right. And I'm all behind this Project 2025. I really am. And I plan on doing a video, talking in depth about it. But Project 2025, in a nutshell, is to bring Christianity and the laws of God back, is to get rid of the corruption, should a Republican president get in office. And you got all the liberals, these Hollywood people, these elites, these celebrities going up against it, like Taraji at the BET Awards. She don't even know what she's talking about. Her age, half naked, everything out, talking about, I know I look good. No, you don't. Need to sit down somewhere. Anyway, you all tell me what you think and what are your thoughts. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that why they're doing this, making them into voters, getting more congressional representation. That is why our country under this administration has turned its back on us. You all tell me what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you all so much for watching. Also visit childlightcandles.com. This is a Christian veteran-owned company where 100% of their products are made in the good old US of A. 25% of their profits go to veterans and their families. Input the discount code LindaB. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America. And as they always say, march on, warriors.